There is a sacred illusion that has governed the human mind for thousands of years, an illusion that God is somewhere else out there, above the clouds, hidden in holy books, locked behind rituals, or found only in the presence of saints and prophets. We were taught to look up, to kneel down, to chase something grand and far away. But what if the greatest secret of all, the secret whispered in every ancient text, the truth behind every miracle, is that God has never been outside of you? Not for a single breath, not for a single heartbeat. God is not above you. God is not around you. God is not hiding in a temple or buried in the sand. God is not an entity floating in the heavens, counting your sins or judging your failures. God is not a being. God is a presence, a vibration, a frequency, an energy. And that energy lives inside of you. It pulses in your chest, not just as a heartbeat, but as a rhythm of cosmic intelligence. It rises with the sun through your thoughts. It flows with your breath as inspiration. It sings in your silence and whispers in your intuition. It is the light behind your eyes, the warmth behind your love, the stillness behind your peace. You don't have to go anywhere to find it. You only have to remember, you have never been separate. You've only believed that you were. We were born into a world that confused form with truth. We were told we were bodies. We were told we were names, histories, roles, genders, religions, nationalities. We were given identities to wear like masks in a theater. But behind every mask is the same light, the same essence, the same eternal current of being that has no label, no boundary, no limitation. You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul having a brief, sacred, passing experience in a body. And that soul, your soul, is not disconnected from God. It is God. Not the entirety, but the expression, the drop that contains the whole ocean, the flame that reveals the nature of fire. You are the divine, individualized. And if that is true, and it is, then everything about your life begins to change. Because no longer do you search for peace outside of yourself. You no longer chase love from others like a beggar. You no longer strive to be good enough, holy enough, worthy enough. You realize that you already are. Because how can that which is divine be unworthy? Your worth is not negotiable. It is not determined by your past. It is not reduced by your mistakes. You are not here to earn divinity. You are here to express it, to remember it, to embody it. When Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you, he wasn't being poetic. He was describing a metaphysical reality, that the infinite lives in the finite, that the source is not out of reach, that the door to heaven swings open inward. The great mystics of every age have known this. Rumi wrote, "I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God." Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is wisdom, knowing yourself is enlightenment." The Upanishads tell us, you are that. The Bhagavad Gita echoes, the self is the friend of the self. Even science, if you look closely, is beginning to whisper this truth, that consciousness is not an accident, but the ground of all being. And so the invitation of your life is not to find God. It is to remove everything that blocks your awareness of God within you. The ego is the veil. The past is the noise. The story is the distraction. But the truth has always been here, still, silent, waiting. Like the sun behind the clouds, it doesn't argue, it doesn't force, it doesn't punish. It simply waits for your willingness to remember who you really are. And who are you? You are not your name. You are not your job. You are not your resume. You are not your trauma. You are not your bank account. You are not your followers, your likes, your clothes, your failures, or your successes. You are not the story others wrote for you. You are not the story you wrote to survive. You are the awareness behind the story, the still presence watching the movie of your life unfold. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. You are not the pain. You are the presence it passes through. You are not the fear, you are the faith it tries to hide. You are not your ego. You are not your wound. You are not your past. You are the divine energy expressing itself through this temporary costume of form. And once you remember this, not just intellectually, but spiritually, cellularly, everything shifts. You stop looking for validation. You stop playing roles. You stop performing for love. You stop carrying guilt like a cross on your back. You stop needing to be fixed because you realize you were never broken. Your healing does not begin when the world changes. It begins when your perception changes. When you stop seeing yourself as separate from the source of life and begin to live as if you are one with it. Because there is no place you can go where God is not. Not because God is everywhere, but because everywhere is in God. Because existence itself is God in motion, love in form, spirit in rhythm. And your soul is a thread in that vast, endless tapestry of being. And this means that your life is not random, your pain is not pointless, your existence is not small. It means that the breath you are taking right now is holy. The moment you are in right now is sacred. The body you inhabit is a temple of energy, vibrating with ancient intelligence. You don't need to wait to die to return to God. You only need to awaken to the fact that you never left. Heaven is not a location. Heaven is a level of awareness. And hell is not punishment. Hell is the illusion of separation. It is living as if you are alone, as if you are unloved, as if you are lost, but you are none of those things. You are found, you are held, you are guided, you are loved beyond comprehension, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. You are light wrapped in skin. You are infinity in motion. You are God, dreaming of being human for a little while. And when you awaken to this truth, forgiveness becomes easy because you recognize that the one you're forgiving is also the divine in disguise. Compassion becomes natural because every person you meet is you in another form. Love becomes unconditional because it's no longer a transaction, it's a transmission. And peace becomes your default because nothing can disturb the stillness of the soul that knows it is one with the all. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't just see a face, see the infinite gazing back at itself. The next time you feel alone, place your hand on your heart and feel the presence that has never left. The next time you pray, don't send your words into the sky. Listen for the answer rising from within. You are not trying to become divine. You are remembering that you already are. And this remembrance, this return, is the beginning of true freedom. You don't need to fight for what already belongs to you. You don't need to beg for what you already are. And you don't need to wait for someone else to awaken. First, you are the awakening. You are the permission slip. You are the spark that lights the fire of remembrance in others, just by being who you truly are. When you walk into a room fully grounded in your divine essence, you don't need to say a word. Your presence becomes the sermon. Your peace becomes the teaching. Your authenticity becomes the miracle. Because when you remember that God is not outside of you, you stop chasing and start radiating. You stop searching and start serving. You stop trying to become and you begin to be. You begin to live like the lotus rooted in the mud, but blooming in the light. You begin to live like the sun, not asking the world for permission to shine. You begin to live like the ocean, deep, powerful, and undisturbed by the surface waves. This is not about religion. This is about revelation. This is not about dogma. This is about direct experience. You don't need a middleman to access the divine. You only need stillness. You only need silence. You only need the courage to sit with yourself until the noise fades and the truth rises. And what is that truth? That you are not alone. You never were. That everything you've been searching for, love, peace, worth, wholeness, is already within you. That God is not a being in the sky. God is the being within all beings. The eternal I am that speaks through your breath, moves through your hands, sees through your eyes. When you hold a newborn child and feel your heart crack open with wonder, that's God. When you stand in nature and feel awe wash over you like a baptism, that's God. When you forgive someone who never said sorry and feel the chains break in your chest, that's God. When you sit in the silence of your own soul and feel the warmth of presence, that is God. God is not something you understand. God is something you remember. And every moment of your life has been guiding you back to that remembrance, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones. Because pain is often the chisel that cracks the shell of illusion. Suffering is the wake-up call. Rock bottom is often the beginning of real clarity. We don't wake up because life is perfect. We wake up because we realize perfection was never the goal. Presence is. Peace is. Truth is. And truth is this: you are not separate. You were never cast out. You were never abandoned. You only forgot who you are, and now you are remembering. The spiritual path is not a journey to someplace new. It is the return to where you've always been, beneath the noise, beneath the story, beneath the roles. It is peeling back the layers of identity until only presence remains, until only love remains, until only God remains. And when you touch that space, when you live from that space, you become a vessel, a living temple, not a preacher of truth, but a presence of truth. And the world does not need more preachers. It needs more presence. It needs more people who have remembered who they are and live accordingly with gentleness, with power, with purpose, with peace. You were not put here to suffer through life hoping for a reward in the afterlife. You were not sent here to prove your worth or earn your salvation. You were born to express divinity in form, to create, to heal, to love, to serve, to awaken. You are the eyes through which the universe sees itself. You are the hands through which love touches the world. You are the voice through which truth sings. And the more you align with that awareness, the more your life begins to reflect it. Not because you manipulate circumstances, but because you change your vibrational point of origin. You stop operating from fear and start operating from faith. You stop reacting from ego and start responding from essence. You stop surviving and begin thriving. This is the alchemy of awakening. When you stop seeking God as something external and begin realizing that every breath is a prayer, every moment is sacred, and every being is divine, your life becomes a living meditation. You find the sacred in the ordinary. You hear the infinite in the silence. You see the face of God in the mirror, not out of arrogance, but out of awe. And this is what the world needs now, not more beliefs, but more beings. Not more ideas, but more embodiment. Not more preaching, but more presence. A planet full of awakened souls who no longer search for light outside, but choose to become the light inside. Because when you light up from within, you give others permission to remember their own flame. When you walk as divinity embodied, you heal without speaking. When you love from your center, you transform the atmosphere around you. And that love, that God energy, has no limits. It is not reserved for saints and sages. It is the birthright of every soul. It is the essence of every child, every stranger, every enemy. There is no one who is not divine. There is only consciousness that has forgotten itself. And when you meet someone who has forgotten, your role is not to judge, your role is to remind. To remind by your presence, to remind by your compassion, to remind by your peace. Because the moment you see God in another, you activate the God in them. The moment you forgive, you invite another into their own freedom. The moment you speak truth without fear, you become a lighthouse in the fog. And the fog is thick right now. The world is noisy. The world is afraid. The world has built a shrine to the ego and forgotten the altar of the soul. But even in this darkness, the light within has not dimmed. It only waits for your awareness to return. So come home to yourself. Come home to the truth that has always been waiting beneath your breath. You are not missing. You are not flawed. You are not behind. You are not unworthy. You are divine. You are radiant. You are the energy of God dancing in human form. You don't need to chase enlightenment. You need to embody what you already are. So breathe, not just to survive, but to remember. Breathe in your wholeness. Breathe in your innocence. Breathe in your connection to all that is. And when the world tries to distract you, return to this breath. Return to this moment. Return to the energy that beats your heart and births the stars, because that energy is you. You are the temple and the flame. You are the question and the answer. You are the seeker and the source. And when you live from this knowing, life becomes a sacred flow. Challenges become opportunities to deepen your truth. Loss becomes a portal into love. Conflict becomes a classroom for compassion. Every experience becomes a step in your return to the truth. The truth that God is not outside of you. God is not in the sky waiting for you to be perfect. God is not a judge watching you through a lens of sin. God is the breath inside your breath, the stillness behind your thoughts, the love that you feel when all the noise fades. You are not separate. You never were. You just forgot. And now you are remembering. And in that remembering, you are reborn. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the search loses its meaning, not because the search failed, but because the search was always a mirror leading inward. The maps you followed, the teachings you clung to, the gurus you revered, the rituals you performed, all of them were stepping stones, sacred, yes, but not destinations. They were never meant to lead you to something outside of you, but to bring you back to the holy stillness within. The silent sanctuary, where nothing is missing and no part of you is exiled. This moment, this breath, is your arrival. Not in time, but in truth. When you release the idea that you must become something more to be worthy of the divine, you enter the dimension of being. And being is not passive, being is not empty, being is a cosmic radiance. It is a living alignment. It is the holy reverence that comes when you stand in your center without effort, without masks, without needing to prove your light to a world that's forgotten its own. You don't become divine by reaching upward. You become divine by sinking inward. And as you do, you realize that stillness is not the absence of noise. It is the presence of God. It is the space from which all miracles arise, the field where form and formlessness meet. In that space, you remember that you are not here to master life like a test. You are here to merge with it like a dance, to move in rhythm with the intelligence that breathes stars into existence and still takes the time to open a flower. There is no arrogance in this knowing, only awe, only humility, only the peace that comes when you stop trying to contain the infinite within your mind and instead allow your heart to become its home. For the ego seeks to grasp, the soul seeks to surrender. The ego builds identity out of pain, out of story, out of past. The soul simply is unburdened, eternal, whole. And every time you choose presence over performance, truth over illusion, love over defense, you dissolve another layer of separation and step more fully into the light that has always been waiting. You don't need to heal yourself into worthiness. You only need to remember that the light you long for is not something to earn, it is something to uncover. And as you uncover it, something begins to shift, not just within you, but around you. The world starts responding differently. Not because the outer world changed, but because your inner signal did. Like a radio that finally tunes to the right frequency, you begin to hear a different song, a quieter song, a truer one. You begin to recognize guidance in what once felt random. You begin to feel supported in ways that defy logic. You begin to trust life, not because it always makes sense, but because you no longer need it to. You begin to understand that the energy that created this universe, the energy that shaped galaxies, composed the laws of nature, painted the skies with sunsets and orchestrated the tides, is not distant from you. It flows through you. It animates you. It breathes you. And when you live from this awareness, your actions become expressions of love instead of fear. Your relationships become altars of growth instead of battlegrounds of control. Your words become vessels of truth instead of weapons of validation. This is what it means to live as the soul and not as the mask. This is what it means to walk the earth as divinity incarnate. You no longer see others as threats or strangers, but as reflections, sacred echoes, each one offering you the chance to practice remembrance. And the more you remember, the more you soften. The more you soften, the more you heal. And the more you heal, the more others heal just by being in your field. This is the quiet revolution of awakened presence. It changes the world not through force, but through frequency. And this frequency is not loud, it's not desperate, it's not defensive, it's gentle, like the light that enters a room without knocking, like the wind that moves the trees without needing to be seen, like love that simply loves, without agenda, without demand, without needing to be returned. This is how the divine works, not as a ruler, but as a presence, not as a command, but as a current. And the more you surrender to this current, the more your life becomes a river instead of a struggle. Not without pain, not without challenge, but with an unshakable foundation of peace that whispers, even in the storm, you are not alone. The storm does not mean you are forsaken. The wound does not mean you are broken. The doubt does not mean you have failed. It means you are growing. It means the veil is thinning. It means you are being called to remember, again, not in concept, but in embodiment. Not just to know that God is within, but to live as though it were unmistakably true. To live as though the breath you take is divine intelligence entering your body. To live as though every act of kindness is a prayer in motion. To live as though your very presence is a sanctuary where others remember their light. This is not spiritual idealism. This is radical realism, to see beyond the illusion of fear and touch the deeper truth of love that holds it all. Because what is God, if not love itself? Not the fragile love that says, only if you earn it. Not the conditional love that keeps score. Not the fleeting love that changes with behavior, but the eternal, boundless, all-pervading love that simply is. The love that has no opposite. The love that includes every shadow. The love that redeems without punishment. The love that burns away the illusion of separation with a single glance. And you are here to be the mirror of that love. Not in perfection, but in presence. Not by trying to become it, but by removing everything that blocks it. Every time you let go of judgment, you make room for that love. Every time you forgive yourself, you open the window to that love. Every time you choose compassion over condemnation, you become a vessel for that love. Not just for others, but for yourself. Because you too are worthy of the grace you give so easily to others. You too are worthy of returning home to yourself, not someday, not when you're better, but now. Now, when you are still tangled in your questions. Now, when you are still healing your wounds. Now, when the light inside is a flicker instead of a flame, that flicker is enough. That breath is enough. That moment of truth is enough to begin again. And beginning again is the most spiritual act there is. Because every moment offers the possibility of awakening. Every moment is holy ground when you walk it with awareness. And every time you choose to remember, even for a second, that God is not outside of you, the veil thins a little more. Until one day, you stop looking for the divine and you simply become it. There is a sacred humility that descends upon the soul when it no longer needs to shine, not because it doubts its light, but because it has become the light. This is not a performance. This is not the ego's idea of enlightenment. This is the quiet authority of one who has stopped seeking approval and started walking in alignment. A person who no longer needs the world to recognize their divinity because they have already recognized it within. This is the true birth of power, not control, not domination, not force, but alignment. Power that flows without resistance, power that heals without effort, power that liberates without preaching, You do not need to argue with darkness. You only need to turn on the light. And the light within you does not flicker with the opinion of others. It does not waver in the face of rejection. It does not vanish when things fall apart, because it is not built on circumstance. It is built on truth, eternal truth, the kind that existed before your story began and will remain long after your story ends. And this is what ego can never understand, that it is not your job to become something more, but to unbecome all that is false. Not to gather more things, more achievements, more spiritual credentials, but to surrender, to shed, to simplify, to become so empty of illusion that only truth remains. The ego resists this. It clings, it calculates, it compares, it builds altars to its own identity. But no altar built by the ego can contain the presence of the divine. God is not a possession. God is not a trophy for the enlightened. God is not a point to be proven. God is the breath between your thoughts, the peace underneath your pain, the space that remains when all self-concepts dissolve. You find it not by becoming more, but by becoming still. And in that stillness, you begin to see clearly. You begin to see how much of your suffering came not from life itself, but from your resistance to it, from believing the lie that life was against you, that you were unworthy, that you had to earn love, prove worth, fight for peace. But peace was never a destination. It was always your nature. Love was never a reward. It was always your essence. And God was never out there. God was always the witness, the seer, the still presence within. As this truth anchors deeper, your relationship with life itself transforms. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what part of me is ready to be healed through this? You stop resisting discomfort and begin welcoming it as the doorway to a deeper awareness. You stop fearing loss and begin recognizing every ending as an initiation into expansion. Nothing is wasted when you see through the eyes of the soul. Even your heartbreak becomes holy. Even your failures become fuel. Even your loneliness becomes a sacred invitation, not to fill the void, but to become intimate with it, to rest in it, to realize that beneath the loneliness is longing, and beneath the longing is love, not the love that comes and goes, but the love that you are. You are not the absence looking for completion. You are the completeness rediscovering itself through this temporary form. And so you begin to live differently, not with the frantic pace of the mind, but with the graceful rhythm of the soul. You begin to trust in timing, to surrender to process, to move not from fear, but from deep inner resonance. You say no, not to reject, but to honor alignment. You say yes, not to please, but to follow joy. You walk away not to escape, but to return to yourself. And in doing so, you begin to see the world not as a battlefield, but as a reflection. Not as a place to conquer, but as a mirror to awaken you. Every interaction becomes a chance to remember. Every trigger becomes a chance to release. Every breath becomes a chance to return home. And what is home? Home is the place within you that needs no validation. Home is the truth that has no opposite. Home is not somewhere you arrive. Home is where you live when you are no longer pretending to be anything but what you are, a spark of the divine wrapped in human form, here for a blink of eternity to remember what cannot be forgotten. You are not here to suffer. You are here to wake up. You are here to love, not as a strategy, but as a state of being. You are here to touch the fabric of life with reverence, to speak with sincerity, to walk with integrity, to listen deeply, and to give freely from the well of your soul. And in doing so, you become what the world has forgotten, a living presence of the sacred. You become the prayer. You become the temple. You become the embodiment of what the scriptures tried to describe. Because the greatest scripture is not in a book. It is written in your being. It is etched in your stillness. It is spoken in your silence. And in that silence, you know not with the mind, but with the soul, that there is nothing left to seek. There is only this moment and the divine pulse that animates it. You are not becoming divine. You are remembering that you never stopped being it. And that remembering is enough to change everything. There is a moment, quiet, unannounced, when all seeking falls away, not because the world has changed, but because you have remembered what the world forgot. You no longer stand at the edge of the ocean asking it to show itself. You simply step in, you merge, you dissolve the illusion of separation and become one with the current. This is what it means to return to God, not to a skybound deity, but to the source that has always been flowing in your breath, rising in your intuition, beating in the very center of your chest. And in this return, you discover what cannot be taught, that love is not something you give, receive, or find. Love is what you are. You were not sent here to search for it. You were sent here to embody it. And when you embody love, not the fragile imitation born of fear and control, but the love that includes every part of you, even the broken places, you become a miracle in motion. You become the kind of presence that doesn't need to speak in order to teach. You simply are. And your being reminds others of what they've always been. You walk differently now, not in haste, but in grace. You listen differently now, not to answer, but to feel. You speak differently now, not to impress, but to align. You live not from a desperate desire to prove your worth, but from a quiet knowing that you are the breath of God in human form. There is nothing to defend. There is nothing to fix. There is only this presence unshaken, unconditioned, and untouched by the storms of the mind. You have not arrived at this place through perfection. You arrived through surrender, through the falling away of every illusion that told you God was separate from your breath, from your body, from your being. You are not here to rise above your humanity. You are here to bring divinity into it, into the chaos, into the relationships, into the heartbreak, the joy, the tension, the ordinary moment, because that is where God lives. Not just in the mountaintops and temples, but in the mundane, in the unseen, in the imperfect. And you are the sacred bridge. You are the place where heaven and earth meet. Not someday, now, in this breath, in this body, in this life. So stop waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Stop waiting for permission. You are the permission. Stop waiting for someone to save you. You are the remembering that saves the world. Not through might, not through noise, but through presence, through peace, through the quiet, unwavering embodiment of the truth that has no opposite, that God has never been outside, that God is not in the sky, that God is not in some distant realm waiting for your perfection. God is here. God is now. God is within your choices, within your silence, within the love you extend when no one is watching, within the courage to forgive when the world says hate, within the softening when your ego wants to harden, within the breath you take when you choose to return to the stillness that has always held you. You don't need to transcend the world. You need to infuse it with your light. Let the divine radiate through your laughter, through your tears, through your vulnerability and truth. Let it pour through your presence like a sacred current. Let it touch every room you enter, not because you're trying, but because you're finally being who you are. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a rememberer. And the memory is no longer distant. It is here. It is now. It is you. So walk gently, boldly, truthfully. Let your life be your prayer. Let your breath be your altar. Let your love be your message. And when the world forgets, and it will be the one who remembers. Remember that every person is carrying the same spark, even if they have buried it. Remember that every conflict is a call for love, not for war. Remember that your past is not a prison, but a portal. Remember that this moment, yes, this very one, is sacred. You are not here by accident. You are not made of mistakes. You are made of stars, of breath, of ancient light. And when you die, and you will not meet God. You will dissolve into God. You will return to what you never left. But until that day, let every step you take be a celebration of the truth you've remembered. That God is not outside. It's the energy inside. And it always has been. And it always will be. Now breathe. Smile. You are home. You are free. You are divine.
Imagine waking up one day to find that your wildest dreams have become your reality. The life you've always yearned for, the abundance, you've craved the love. You've longed for all of it manifested before your very eyes. What if I told you that this is not merely a fantasy, but a truth that lies dormant? Within you, waiting to be awake in the universe, is not some distant, unresponsive entity. It is a living, breathing force that is constantly listening to the whispers of your soul. And once you start asking the universe in the right way with unwavering faith and conviction, your desires are not just hurt, but they're already done. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance, love, and success, while others struggle to make ends meet? The answer lies in the power of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions. They're all powerful frequencies that shape your reality. When you learn to harness this power, when you learn to communicate with the universe in its own language, you become the master of your own destiny. But here's the catch. Most people ask from a place of lack, from a place of doubt and fear. They beg and plead with the universe, hoping for scraps of mercy. But the universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to faith. It responds to the unshakable belief that what you desire is already yours. So how do you ask the universe in a way that guarantees results? How do you tap into the limitless abundance that is your birthright? The answer lies in the power of your imagination, love assumption. And the inevitability of manifest your imagination is the creative force within you. The tool that allows you to shape your reality when you visualize your desires with vivid detail and unwavering faith. You were sending a powerful signal to the universe. You were telling it that what you desire has already done the law. Assumption states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live in the end result of your desires, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance. You are telling the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are worthy of your dreams. And here's the best part. Once you start asking the universe, like this manifestation becomes inevitable, the universe will conspire to bring your desires to fruition, to align the people, circumstances, and events necessary to make your dreams a reality. All you need to do is trust the process, to let go of doubt and fear, and to maintain unwavering faith in the inevitability of your success. So my friends, are you ready to have your world turned upside down? Are you ready to experience the limitless abundance that is your birthright? Then join me on this journey of manifestation as we explore the art of asking the universe in a way that guarantees results. Your wildest dreams are about to become your everyday reality. The power of your imagination is the key to unlocking the limitless potential within you. It is the creative force that allows you to shape your reality, to bring your desires into manifestation. When you harness the power of your imagination, you become the architect of your own destiny. But what exactly is imagination? And how does it work? Imagination is the ability to create mental images, to visualize scenarios and possibilities that don't yet exist in the physical world. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the link between the infinite potential of the universe and the tangible reality of your life. When you imagine something with vivid detail and unwavering faith, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe. You are telling it that what you desire is already done, that it is already yours. The universe doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply responds to the frequency of your thoughts and emotions. So how do you cultivate the power of your imagination? The first step is to get clear on what you truly desire. What does your ideal life look like? What kind of relationships, experiences, and abundance do you want to attract? The most specific and detailed your vision. The more powerful your imagination becomes once you have a clear vision. The next step is to engage your senses. Imagine not just the visual aspects of your desire, but the sounds, smells, tastes, and textures as well. The more fully you engage your senses, the more real your imagination becomes to your subconscious mind. For example, if your desire is to manifest your dream home, imagine yourself walking through front door, feel the texture of the doorknob in your hand, the sensation, the floor beneath your feet, the aroma of your favorite scent, wafting through the air, hear the laughter and conversation of your loved ones echoing through the rooms. The more vividly you imagine, the more powerfully you align yourself with the frequency of your desire. But the power of imagination goes beyond just visualizing your desires. It also involves assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. In other words, it means living as if your desires are already a reality even before they manifest in the physical world. This is where the law of assumption comes into play. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance, love, and success. You are telling the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are worthy of your dream. So how do you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled? One powerful technique is to practice gratitude in advance. Instead of waiting for your desires to manifest before you feel grateful, start expressing gratitude. Now for what you know is on its way, say things like, "Thank you, universe, for my dream home. I am so grateful to wake up every morning in a space that fills me with joy and inspiration." By expressing gratitude in advance, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance and attracting more what you desire. Another technique is to act as if your desire is already a reality. If your desire is to manifest a loving relationship, start treating yourself with the love and respect you desire from a partner. Take yourself on dates, buy yourself flowers, and speak kindly to yourself in the mirror by embodying the energy of love. You attract more love into your life. The power of imagination is not just a tool for manifestation. It is a way of life. When you live from a place of imagination, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. You become a magnet for American conduit, for the limitless abundance of the universe. The law of assumption is a powerful principle that can transform your life in ways you never thought possible. It states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real. In other words, your assumptions create your reality. Think about that for a moment. Your assumptions, your beliefs, your inner conversations, they all have the power to shape your experience of life. When you assume that you are worthy of love and abundance, the universe responds by bringing more love and abundance into your life. When you assume that you are capable of achieving your dreams, the universe comes to make those dreams a reality. But the law of assumption goes even deeper, that it's not about assuming positive things, it's about living in the end, about embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled when you live in the end. No, hoping, wishing, or striving for your desire. Instead, you're living as if they're already a reality, as if they have already manifested in your life. This is a subtle but profound shift in consciousness. Most people spend their lives in a state of wanting a feeling like they're lacking something. They believe that they will be happy when they finally achieve their goals, when they finally manifest their desires. But the truth is that state of wanting only perpetuates more wanting. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of lack and limitation. The law of assumption you to break free from that cycle, to step into the reality of your desires right now. It invites you to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled to embody the energy of abundance, love, and success, even before it shows up in your physical reality. So how to do that? You live in the end. Even when your current circumstances don't match your desired reality, the key is persistence. It's about maintaining the state of your wish fulfillment, even in the face of doubts, fear, or setbacks. When you first start practicing the law of assumption, it can feel uncomfortable, even delusional. Your mind will try to convince you that it's not real, that you're just fooling yourself. But the more you persist in maintaining the state of your wish fulfilled, the more natural it becomes. You start to see evidence of your desire manifesting in your life, and your faith grows stronger. One powerful way to maintain the state of yours fulfilled is through affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, either out loud or silently, that reinforce your desired reality. For example, if your desire is to manifest financial abundance, you might repeat affirmations like, "I am a magnet. For money, abundance flows to me easily and effortlessly. I'm worthy of all the wealth and prosperity I desire," by repeating these affirmations. Consistently, you are reprogrammed in your subconscious mind to align with the reality of your desires. You're shifting your assumptions, your beliefs, and your inner conversations to match the frequency of abundance. Another way to maintain the state of your wish fulfilled. Visualization, as we discussed earlier. Visualization is a powerful tool for engaging your imagination and aligning yourself with the frequency of your desires. When you visualize your desired reality with vivid detail and emotion, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that this is what you want to experience. But the key to effective visualization is to engage all of your senses, not just your visual sense imagined, not just what your desired reality looks like, or what it feels like, smells like, tastes like, and sounds like. The more fully you engage your senses, the more real your visualization becomes to your subconscious mind. The law of assumption is not just a tool for manifestation. It is a way of being. When you live from a place of assumption, you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You become the creator of your reality, master of your destiny. You recognize that your assumptions, your beliefs, and your inner conversations have the power to shape your experience of life. And you choose to align them with the reality of your desires. Now that we've explored the power of imagination and the law of assumption, let's dive into the art of asking. Asking is the bridge between your desires and their manifestation. It's the way you communicate with the universe, the way you declare your intentions and set the wheels of creation in motion. But here's the thing. Most people don't know how to ask. They ask from a place of lack of desperation or fear. They beg and plead with the universe, hoping for scraps of mercy. But the universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to faith. It responds to the unwavering conviction that what you desire is already your soul. How do you ask in a way that guarantees results? The first step is to ask with faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you ask with faith, you're not hoping or wishing for your desires to manifest. You are declaring that they are already done. You are aligning yourself with the reality of your desires even before they show up in your physical world. This kind of faith requires a deep trust in the universe and knowing that your desires are not just possible but inevitable. It requires you to release your attachment to the how and when of manifestation and to surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe. The second step in the art of asking is to ask with conviction. Conviction is the unshakable belief in the truth of your desires, is the inner knowing that what you want is already yours, that it's your divine right to experience abundance, love. When you ask with conviction, you are not just making a request. You are making a command. You are telling the universe that this is what you expect, that this is what you demand. You are not asking for permission. you are claiming your birthright. But conviction isn't just about the words you speak, it's about the energy. Behind those words, it's about the feeling of certainty, of unwavering faith that infuses every cell of your being. When you ask with conviction, you're not just speaking your desires. You're becoming the vibrational match for what you want to experience. The third step in the art of asking is to let go of doubt and fear doubt. And fear are the enemies of manifestation. They are the voices in your head that tell you it's not possible, that you're not worthy, that you'll never have what you want. They are the limiting beliefs that keep you stuck in a cycle of lack and limitations. But here's the thing. Doubt and fear are just thoughts. They're not the truth of who you are. You have the power to choose your thoughts, to choose your beliefs, to choose your assumptions. When you let go of doubt and fear, you create space for faith and conviction to take root. One powerful way to let go of doubt and fears through the practice of surrender. Surrender is the act of releasing your attachment to the outcome, of trusting that the universe has your back. Even when you can't see the way forward, when you surrender, you're not giving up on your desires, giving them to a higher power, to the infinite wisdom of the universe. Surrender requires a deep level of trust, a willingness to let go of control and allow the universe to guide you. It requires you to release your grip on the how and when of manifestation, and to trust that everything is unfolding in perfect divine timing. The final step in the art of asking is to align your thoughts and actions with your desires. Manifestation is not just about asking, it's about becoming. It's about aligning every aspect of your being with the reality you want to create. This means thinking thoughts that match your desires, speaking words that affirm your worth, abundance, and taking actions that move you closer to your goals. It means living as if your desires are already a reality, even before they manifest in your physical world. When you align your thoughts and actions with your desires, you become a magnet for miracles. You attract people's circumstances, opportunities that support your vision. You create a life that is a living testament to the power of your faith and conviction. So my friends, I invite you to master the art of asking. Ask with faith, with conviction, and with unwavering belief in the truth of your desires. Let go of without and feared and surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe. Align your thoughts and actions with your desires and become the vibrational match for the reality you want to create. When you do, miracles become commonplace. The universe conspires to bring your desires into manifest. Life becomes a living testament to the power of your asking. Master the art of asking, and watch as your wildest dreams become your everyday reality. When you master the art of asking, when you align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the reality of your desires, manifestation becomes inevitable. It's not a question of if your desires will manifest, but when the universe is always listening, always responding to the vibration you are offering. And when you offer a vibration of faith, conviction, and unwavering belief, the universe has no choice but to deliver. But how exactly does manifestation work? How does the universe take your desires and turn them into physical reality? The answer lies in the concept of the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents is the series of events, people and circumstances that the universe orchestrates to bring your desires into manifestation. It's the way the universe connects the dots, aligns the pieces of the puzzle, and creates the perfect conditions for your desires to come to fruition. When you ask for something, the universe immediately begins to arrange the bridge of incidents. It starts to move people and circumstances into place to create opportunities and open doors that will lead you to your desired out. It's like a cosmic game of dominoes where each piece falls perfectly into place, creating a chain reaction of manifestation. But here's the thing, the bridge of incidents doesn't always look the way you expect it to sometimes. It takes you on a journey that seems unrelated to your desires. Sometimes it brings you challenges and obstacles that you must overcome. Sometimes it requires you to take leaps of faith and trust in the unknown. But every step along the bridge of incidents is necessary. Every challenge, every setback, every unexpected twist and turn is part of the divine plan. It's all leading you closer to your desires, even when it doesn't feel like it. The key to navigating the bridge of incidents is to trust the process, to surrender to the journey, even when you can't see the way forward, to have faith that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Trusting the process means letting go of your attachment to the outcome. It means releasing your grip on the how and when of manifestation and allowing the universe to guide you. It means being open to the unexpected, to the miracles and synchronicities that show up along the way. When you trust the process, you open yourself up to the magic of manifestation. You allow the universe to work its wonders to bring you what you desire in ways that are beyond your wildest dreams. You become a co-creator with the universe of partner in the dance of manifestation. The trusting the process isn't always easy. It requires a deep level of faith, a willingness to surrender to the unknown. It requires you to let go of your need for control. You need to have everything figured out. It requires you to embrace the mystery, to trust that everything is unfolding in perfect divine timing. One way to cultivate trust in the process is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the act of acknowledging and appreciating the blessings in your life, even before your desires have manifested. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from lack to abundance, from scarcity to sufficiency. You train your mind to see the good in every situation, to find the silver lining in every cloud. Gratitude is also a powerful way to align yourself with the vibration of your desires. When you feel grateful for what you want, even before it is manifested, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to receive your gift. You are telling the universe that you trust in its abundance. Way to cultivate trust in the process is through the practice of surrender. Surrender is the act of letting go of your attachment to the outcome, of releasing your need to control every aspect of your life. When you surrender, you are not giving up on your desires. You are giving them over to a higher power, to the infinite wisdom of the universe. Surrender requires a deep level of trust, the willingness to let go and allow the universe to guide you. It means being open to the unexpected, to the twists and turns. Along the bridge of incidents, it means trusting that everything is happening for your highest good, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. When you cultivate trust in the process, when you practice gratitude and surrender, manifestation becomes effortless. Your desires flow to you with ease and grace, and your life becomes a living testament to the power of your faith. You become a magnet for miracles, conduit for the abundance of the universe. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to remind you of the incredible power that lies within you, the power to create your reality, to manifest your deepest desires, to live a life beyond your wildest dreams. This power is not some distance unattainable, for it is the very essence of who you are. It is the birthright of every human being on this planet. Throughout this speech, we've explored the key principles manifest and the power of imagination, the law of assumption, the art of asking. We've discovered that the universe is not some separate entity, but a live, breathing extension of our own consciousness, that our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions create our reality, and that by aligning ourselves with the vibration of our desires, we can manifest miracles on demand. But the journey of manifestation is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong practice. It requires a daily commitment to aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the reality you want to create. It requires a willingness to let go of limiting beliefs, to embrace the unknown, to trust in the perfect timing of the universe. And yet, The rewards of this practice are beyond measure when you live from a place of faith and conviction, when you trust in the inevitability of your desires. Your life becomes a living testament to the power of manifestation. You attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that support your vision. You experience a level of joy, abundance, and fulfillment that most people only dream of. So, my friends, I invite you to embrace this practice with every fiber of your being, to wake up each day with a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that your desires are on their way to cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the blessings in your life. Even before they have manifested, to surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe, trusting that everything is happening for your highest good and above all. I invite you to remember the truth of who you are. You are not just a physical being confined to the limitations of this earthly realm. You are an infinite, eternal, powerful creator with the ability to shape your reality in any way you choose. Your divine spark of the universe itself is a unique expression of the infinite intelligence that pervades all things as you go forth from this moment. Carry this truth with you. Let it be your guiding light, your North Star, your unwavering conviction. Know that you are worthy of your desires, that you're capable of manifesting miracles, that you are loved and supported by the universe in every moment. And when challenges arise, when doubts creep in, when the journey seems long and uncertain, remember the words of the great mystic Rumi. What you seek is seeking you. Your desires are not some distant, unattainable fantasy. They are the very essence of your being, the call of your soul. Trust in their inevitability and let them guide you home. So my friends, go forth with faith, with conviction, with unwavering belief in the power of your dreams. Manifest miracles, create magic, and live a life beyond your wildest imagination. The universe is waiting for you, cheering you on, conspiring in your faith. All you have to do is say yes, yes to your desires, yes to your dreams, yes to the infinite possibility that lies within you, yes to a life of joy, abundance, and limitless potential, yes to the magic and miracles of the universe. Now and always, thank you for joining me on this journey of manifestation. May your dreams take flight, may your desires become reality, and may your life be a living testament to the power of your faith. The universe is yours, my friends. Claim it, own it, and let it lead you to a life beyond your wildest dreams.